guys, welcome back to A Story with Rory podcast. I am your host, and tonight we have a very special guest, Ava. Hey, Ava, where are you calling from?
Hi, I am calling from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. I hear you have a story for us, so go ahead and start from the beginning and tell us what you got.
Okay. This was a long time ago, probably before you were born, in 1997.
Well, I was born in 82, so almost.
Oh, okay. And I was traveling um highway at Interstate 81 from Carlisle, coming back from church and going to Camp Hill, which is like, I don't know, a half an hour drive, depending.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, sorry, I'm trying to keep my phone here. Um, so we, or I was driving this stretch of highway. It was like a nice sunny day, and um, there were a few clouds, but basically just a blue sky, really nice. Um, and um, all of a sudden, like off to the side, it looked like it was going to maybe go over this area of mountains is out there along the highway. And I saw this craft while I was driving. And I just kept like looking out the window, and then like I didn't want to get in an accident, so I wanted to kind of be responsible with what I was doing. And um so I pulled off and got out of my car to look at what I was seeing. And then I came home and drew it in my diary, and I still have the diary.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was basically like two deep bowls put together. So it didn't go up to it like kind of like came up and was a little flat on the top and down on the sides. And it was like two of those pressed together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was red on the top, silver on the bottom. And then there was like lights or something shiny that like went around the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people were just driving past me, and I'm just alongside the interstate watching this thing, and like couldn't believe my eyes. Um, Back in those days, you didn't dare say anything. People would get locked up in the crazy bin, for talking about seeing UFOs. So I hid it I hid it away in my journal. I didn't tell anybody. Until just a few years ago, when it became more mainstream to talk about it. I let a few family members and a few close friends know, after like watching a movie or something, and go like, have you guys ever seen anything? Have you ever experienced anything? And just to kind of open up the door to be able to say, I did, and kind of put it out there. And um, even for people who haven't experienced it, um, I've had a couple people that didn't really understand, but most people have been pretty open to hearing what I had to say, and I've been happy to share, my story, because it's not something everybody gets to experience, at least not yet. So, um, I kind of feel lucky.
Right. You have seen something like that for sure. How big would you say this thing was?
Um, Let me see here. Trying to think what I could compare it to. Um, I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't huge in the like covering the sky above me. It definitely wasn't anything. It definitely wasn't anything that big. I would say, um, like if you took the like landing rails off of two helicopters and put them bottom to bottom, probably
Mhm.
about that size.
Okay. So like 10 bathtubs or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, it wasn't very big. Um,
And that's before we had phones that would record like good audio or good video too.
oh yeah, I didn't even have a mobile phone, I don't think at that point.
Yeah,
Um,
97 that was like Snake, Nokia, the green screen. So,
yeah, so yeah, obviously I would have tried to get some footage if I would have had anything on me. I think all I had then was a regular and like manual film camera.
really,
Um, but I didn't carry it with me all the time, and that's not something that obviously I expected on a
right.
Sunday afternoon on my way home from church.
Do you have the drawing near you, or do you just have it somewhere?
Um, I do have it in the room. Uh, and I'm going
Let's,
to put you guys down. Can I put you down? Hold on.
no problem.
Sorry, guys.
If anyone's tuning in, she is grabbing her sketch that she did make after she had this UFO sighting. So that's what anyone that's just joining us in now, that's what's going on here. She's going to show us the sketch that she, whatever she saw. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
See if I can get it. Okay. All right. See if I can get enough light on this. Okay. Definitely if I can. All right.
Oh, dang, that's definitely got some detail to it.
Yeah.
Huh. So it looked like there's kind of like a window right there in the center and on the top part.
Yes. That's what that is. And then there was like a ring, like not way far out away from it, like Saturn rings, but spherical rings going around the center,
Right.
shaped like that. But they look like they were attached to like the middle of the craft, like
Interesting.
where you would separate the top from the bottom.
Right. That's cool. So you got out and looked at it. Did it ever go away? Did it float away, shoot off, or did you just stand there for a while and then get back in your car and go?
You know what? I actually don't recall. I was trying to think about this because I figured you might ask. And I want to say that I left it, that I don't, because I don't recall it leaving me.
Right.
So I want to say that I was just like, you know what? I have to get going. I think I had somewhere else to be that afternoon and got in the car and left, because I don't have any notes or anything describing that. So I want to say that I left before it did.
Right. Man, that'd still be kind of freaky though. you know, how close was this thing to you, like in reference of where you were just standing on the side of the highway?
Very close. Very close. If it would have been a helicopter, I mean, the wind and the dirt and dust and everything around me would have been blowing up. And it made no noise. It made no noise. No wind disruption or anything.
So you probably
It
could
was,
have hit it with a rock, maybe.
Well, I don't know have a great arm like that, but somebody probably have.
Someone could have. So that just tells you right there, like the distance that you were from this from this flying object.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Have you seen
Um,
anything since then like that, or was that the only time?
I haven't. I haven't. I used to live a place, and I don't even know if it's scientifically possible, but this one place that I lived at, um, I thought they were falling stars, but they were all the time. I mean, and I wasn't out in the middle of nowhere. I was in a suburb of our capital city.
Right.
So, I would see them all the time. I used to keep track. I haven't found that journal, but I used to keep track, and I think I remember one year, seeing like 25 in a year. Like, I think that's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I mean, that's
For
that's
falling
probably
stars?
yeah, that's probably close to like a record. I mean, I forgot there's a certain continent that has the majority of falling stars. That happens all the time. I can't remember where it was, but I want to say Africa, but I could be wrong. But it's still, even then, I mean, I see them in the country like maybe once a month, maybe, So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm saying, like, now looking back, maybe that they all weren't falling stars, and
Maybe not.
I just wasn't open to exploring that as a possibility at that time.
Right. Well, that's still an amazing story. I have something kind of like that, except I didn't get out of the truck. I honestly couldn't process what I was looking at, and I was driving, 70 miles an hour on a turnpike, and I just couldn't get myself to get out of the car, get my phone out. And this was a couple of years ago, so I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. It was like my brain wouldn't do it, you know. So it's kind of a weird deal.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy um how that can happen, how you can be telling your body to do stuff and and your brain just like overpowers it and it's like, nope,
Yeah,
maybe it's a built-in safety mechanism.
maybe. Who knows?
I don't know, but
But yeah.
what was yours like?
So me and my wife were on the turnpike, and we're coming down probably a good old, I don't know, like a mile stretch, just straight. And then it goes up kind of to a curve, and it goes to the right, and it turns. Well, before it turns, there's a bridge there, and to the left of that bridge, there's a solid, I guess, cedar tree line right on the turnpike, probably about maybe 50 feet away from the road, and about 30 feet above the tree line, there was this black sphere, metal. It wasn't shiny. It was kind of like a matte, flat color. And I could see the sun bouncing off of it, basically, just sitting there, like hovering. There's no propeller. There's no fumes. There's no sound. There's no nothing. Nothing supporting it. It's just stuck. Like, it's just like, I don't know. You ever seen something just like a magic trick, or something just kind of like
Yeah.
hovering, stuck right there? That's what it looked like. It looked like I'm looking at something that shouldn't literally be there. So I'm driving, I'm looking at it, I'm driving, I'm looking at it, but I'm trying to keep my eyes on the road. My wife the whole time is just staring at it, trying to process it as well. But neither one of us thought, get your phone out and do it. Put the camera on it and see what it is. Pull over, investigate. Like, we didn't have that intuition whatsoever. We just were like, what are we looking at? Like, it was like looking at a car that was just 30 feet, 45 feet in the air, just sitting there.
Is that what is that what inspired you to begin your podcast?
Um, Not really. I had this idea for like the past probably like 5 years or so, and what I wanted to do was I want to interview. My goal is to interview 1 million people. And I know that's a whole bunch, but I want to interview 1 million people and hear their stories, like all their unexplained stories, whether it's like UFO, Bigfoot, paranormal, stuff like that. And also just hearing stories that are just kind of an incredible thing you wouldn't really hear every day. Stuff like that. Something that's really just worth mentioning. Um, so yeah, it kind of started out as a hobby, and then I've always been into like the Bigfoot, UFO, unexplained, X-Files, stuff like that in the '90s. So I think it just kind of grew as like a hobby, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and started an email for it, and then I already had a YouTube, but I just never really did anything with my YouTube other than just watch videos. And I was like, well, maybe I can do something where I can kind of be involved with people and find out like what their experiences and encounters are that they've had of this weird stuff. So I think a lot of it though was just the 2000, I think it was the 2015 UFO video that came out not too long ago. The two Air Force pilots. That
Oh
really,
yeah.
yeah, I think that incident right there kind of pushed me over the edge as far as like, let's see if we can try to dive into this a little bit and get people's perspective on what they've seen. And also, all the people that I've interviewed so far, I try to like put the dots to the stories and see if there's any similarities. And I've seen a lot of similarities on several different UFO sightings and Bigfoots and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things that link up. And these people don't know each other. They've never talked to each other. And it's
Yeah.
literal physical proof that these things are real, even if I don't have footage. Now, some of the stories I do get have footage, and they'll send it to me, and it's pretty spectacular, or sounds, or stuff like that about Bigfoot calls or whatever it is. There's just always something really unique behind it, and I think that's kind of why I do it, just so I can kind of help people out, try to figure out what they're seeing, and kind of communicate with them that I know other people that have had the same type of encounter or sighting or whatever or story, and it matches up with theirs. I mean, who the heck knows? They could have seen the same thing, for all we know. But yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. But I want to say like just UFOs and stuff like that really kind of do it for me. Like my wife's more of a Bigfoot fan. I like Bigfoot. I think it's real, but I'm just like, I've seen stuff in the sky. I haven't seen a giant ape. Not that I'm saying it doesn't exist. Not that I'm saying Bigfoot's not real. I'm sure he is. But it's just, I feel more, UFO driven. Like I think those are a little bit cooler than Bigfoot. Just in my opinion. I'm not really a big fan of the paranormal stuff, but I will have people on that have experiences and stories and stuff like that. Like I was at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado a couple of weeks ago, trying to get one of their staff members to do an interview. I don't know if you're familiar with the Stanley Hotel or not, but it's where part of The Shining in the movie was filmed there. I don't know if the whole thing was filmed there or part of it, but apparently there's a lot of paranormal activity there, and there's a lot of freaky stuff that happens, and so I kind of just went and took a look around, and took my camera in there real quick and just did a little once-over and left because I couldn't get one of the guys to do an interview for me. Probably because they were just busy, It was like a Friday or Saturday night, and it was just the wrong time to do it. But I even tried to hop in on the ghost tour that they had, and the guy at the last second cut me off. So I was like, well, never mind. I was just walking out this way, So, but yeah, that's what got me into all this. It's just kind of like the mystery and suspense of what people see on a daily basis and trying to connect the dots, basically.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I was sitting here tonight and I was watching the latest episode of Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, if I ever hit the lottery, like really big, like lots of millions, I
Mm-hmm.
want to call them up and be like, here, look, can I throw some money at you for your research because I believe in it, and I want to know like what the heck is going on there as well. because it's so crazy, and I would want to back them and help them get answers.
Oh, for sure. It's a hot spot out there where they're at. And I actually tried to reach out to Eric Bard once, like not Travis, but the other guy that
Oh
sits
yeah,
in the room and everything,
yeah.
monitors all that. I tried to reach out to him once and try to have him on, but it ended up being I guess it was like a fake account that somebody put with his picture and all that on there. I was like, oh, great.
Um,
I had this guy trying to get me to sign up for crypto and all this stuff, and I didn't even argue with him, like, why do you have a celebrity's name on your profile picture and all that? But anyways, I tried to get Eric on or Travis. I mean, if I could get them on my show, that would just be, that would like literally make my day. If I could get one celebrity that deals with like UFO research or anything, that would that would be freaking cool. But who knows? I'm just a small channel. I just started a couple months ago. I've only got like barely 5,000 subscribers, and I got a long road ahead though. So it's just started. It's not the end of the world if I can't get, somebody big on the show. But who knows? I mean, anything can happen. That's kind of how I look at it.
now you have to build your base with us first.
Right. And that's the thing is, I don't know about other podcast channels, but it's like I have a feeling that if I try to go to like a show that's bigger, that has better like production and fans and history, I feel like they'll be like, we don't really want you on. We want someone that's kind of like either sponsored or well known or stuff like that. And my niche is kind of like I will literally have anyone on that has a genuine story that is worth hearing. It's a good story, and whether it's one of the unexplained categories, whether it's something that's just something that happened out of the blue, that's just wild and crazy, like you don't hear that stuff every day, then yeah, I absolutely want to hear that. And so yeah, if you know anybody, I mean, if you have friends or anyone that has had any kind of encounter or sighting or any cool story that they just were dying to share, but they don't want to tell anyone else, they can always call in or let me know, and I'll be glad to have them on. But yeah, that's basically why I do this.
Yeah, I'll point them in your direction.
Yeah,
And if
I'll send you a link of the YouTube channel as well. It's called A Story with Rory. So
okay, and if you want, I can get a good scan of that journal entry and send it to you.
absolutely, yeah, I'd enjoy that. I recommend to you, if you haven't heard of the app called Enigma. Have you heard of it?
No,
Do you have an iPhone?
I don't.
Okay. I think it might be on the Google Play Store as well, but it's called Enigma. It's basically a communication forum for people that have had sightings to upload their stories. They can just type them out, put pictures, anything like that. And there's people on there. It'll show like in your area where all the other reports have been, and it's just
Oh,
wild. It's a pretty cool tool, and it's free to use. It's just called Enigma, and has like a little white flying saucer on the app. But it's pretty cool. I was introduced to it last week from a guest that I had on the show from Tucson. His name was Craig something. But he didn't go by Craig on the show. He went by something else. But anyways, look at some of my last couple episodes. It's him.
mm-hmm.
He has a hat on. Very good dude. Awesome story that he shared with me. And yeah, he shared that app too, and that was kind of a cool thing. I always like kind of push that every episode now, just because it's mainly just for UFO, UAP type stuff. But it's a cool little free tool they have out there, and I'm down to have something free. So, all right, well, Ava, it's great having you on, and I appreciate your story for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it as well.
All right, if you don't mind, like and subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. And if you have anyone with a story, just point them my way, okay?
I will do that.
All right, Ava, talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Rory.
Hey guys, welcome back to A Story with Rory, and we are out. If you have a story that you would like to share with us, go ahead and feel free to email it to me at astorywithrory@gmail.com, and I'd be glad to hear it. All right, well, until then, we are out.